Hey friends, how's it going? My name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing my December TBR. And this is the last TBR of 2024. I can't believe it is already here. This video is going to include all of the books that I plan to read before the end of 2024, as well as some of my video plans before the end of the year, and I'm going to be letting you know some information about the book troop, my book club. And so let's go ahead and jump right in because we've got a lot to get through. So if you missed the announcement for December for the book troop, we're going to be reading the book Kill for Me, Kill for You, which yes, technically this is going to be a reread for me because this is one of my favorite thrillers that I've read this year. This is a thriller that kind of has the like strangers on a train premise where like these two women meet and they decide to commit murder for each other. And in my opinion, it's a really fun and really fast-paced thriller that I think is going to make for such a fun book club discussion. And so this is our December pick, and I'm so excited that for the month of December, I'm going to be joined by my sister, and hopefully we'll be doing this live show, I think in the last weekend of December. We're trying to plan for that weekend. That's the final weekend in December between Christmas and New Year's. So hopefully that is when the live show is going to be happening, and I can't wait for everybody to read this book along with us and discuss it. I think it's going to be a great time. I'm also excited to let you know that for the January book troop pick, I really wanted it to be a backlist book, and so I did end up making a few different posts to my Patreon asking for some help for like which backlist titles they would like to see as picks, and then I had them vote on these 4 books as potential backlist pick options. These are all books that were published at least a year ago that I myself have not read yet, and I'm so excited that Dark Places by Gillian Flynn ended up winning the poll for January. And so Dark Places is going to be our January book troop pick, which I am so excited about because this is a thriller that published back in like 2009, I want to say, and it's the only book that I haven't read from this author because if you didn't know, this is the same author as Gone Girl, aka one of my favorite thrillers of all time. And she's also the author of, you know, Sharp Objects and The Grown Up and a number of other books that I have enjoyed. I do know though that this one is probably going to be a little bit dark in terms of content that we're reading together. I mean, the main premise says Libby Day was 7 when her mother and her 2 sisters were murdered in the Satan sacrifice of Kanaki, Kansas. And it says, as her family lay dying, little Libby fled their tiny farmhouse into the freezing January snow. Oh my gosh, what? Okay, I didn't know that this took place in like the January snow. So like how perfect that we're reading this in January. It says she survived and famously testified that her 15-year-old brother Ben was the killer. And it says 25 years later, Ben sits in prison. And then it talks about how there was like a secret society who was obsessed with the notorious crimes. And there might be proof that Ben was not actually the one who did it. So it does sound like this one's gonna be pretty, you know, heavy content-wise with like the subject matter of like what we're gonna be reading. But I'm also so excited because I've heard such great things about Dark Places throughout the years, and it's still one that I haven't read. So I'm very excited to be reading this in the month of January. I'm also so excited to let you know that for this live show, I'm gonna be joined by one of my booktube friends who I've been friends with for such a long time, and I've never had her on the book troop before, and that's gonna be Heather from Bookables. Heather is somebody that I've looked up to on booktube for such a long time, and we've been really close friends ever since like 2019 or 2020, I wanna say. And she also reads a lot of thriller and romances, and I feel like our tastes usually do align when it comes to like thriller and romance books. So I'm so excited to finally have Heather on the book troop. I think it's gonna be so much fun. And because this is a book that neither of us have ever read, I mean, I'm really hoping that it ends up being something we both really enjoy. So I'm stoked to read this in January, and if you haven't read the book yet, I really hope that you can join us in January to read this one. So first things first, in the month of December, the first video that I want to be working on is going to be the final 4th episode of reading Reese Witherspoon's book club picks. And so for this episode, I'm going to be reading her picks from September, October, November, and December for the last 4 picks of the year. So if you missed the previous 2 episodes, I will have them linked down below, but this is going to be me completing an entire year of reading Reese Witherspoon's book club picks. How exciting. So for the September selection, I'm going to be reading The Comfort of Crows. And then for the October pick, I'm going to be reading Society of Lies, which this is the only thriller that's left from her book club picks. And this is also one of my most anticipated thrillers of the year. So this is probably the book that I'm most excited to be reading for that video. And then for November, she had another nonfiction pick, which is We Will Be Jaguars. And then for December, she just recently announced that the pick is going to be this book called City of Nightbirds. And so we definitely have some stuff on this list that is going to be a little bit outside of my comfort zone for me to be reading. I mean, we have 2 nonfiction books here, which nonfiction is something that I said I wanted to read more of, and I just haven't been throughout the whole year. So I guess this is going to be the perfect opportunity for me to read some more nonfiction books. And then City of Nightbirds, it literally looks like it's going to be historical fiction, but I don't think it is. It actually takes place in 2019, and this one's about like a girl that's in like the Russian ballet scene. So it's definitely going to be something that I would not have picked up myself and is kind of outside of my comfort zone, but I am willing willing to give it a shot. So we're gonna see how this goes for the last 4 Reese Witherspoon book club picks. I'm also currently debating, and you'll have to let me know your ideas and thoughts on this, but I'm currently debating for next year if I want to continue doing this like celebrity book club kind of series. And maybe I've been debating next year, maybe I'll do like the Good Morning America book club, or I'll do the like Read with Jenna book club. So you'll have to let me know your thoughts on that. I'm thinking maybe I can put it up to a vote and then have you vote whether I do the Good Morning America book club or the Read with Jenna book club next year, or maybe I'll just decide myself. But you'll have to let me know if you want to see more videos like this next year of like me reading from a celebrity book club every, couple of months. It would be like how I did the Reese Witherspoon vlogs, probably, where I would have 3 vlogs throughout the whole year where I read 4 picks from the last 4 months. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. Anyways, and then in the month of December, I'm also planning on doing a vlog that's dedicated to like reading Christmas themed books. So one of the books I want to read for that video includes The Nightmare Before Christmas, which this is one of my most anticipated romances. And one of them is The Prince of Christmas, and then the other one is The Prince of Halloween. And it's like a romance between them. I don't know anything about this, but I think it's gonna be so freaking cute. And I love this copy that I got from Tor. It's got like the sprayed edges and everything. Like, it is just so beautiful. So I'm hoping to read this one. It just says 2 princes, 2 rival holidays. What could possibly go right? I think it's gonna be amazing and adorable and possibly pretty cheesy, but I've heard that this book has more Christmas than Halloween, so that's why I decided to save it for this time of year. So this will be one of the books that I'm gonna read for that video. I'm also gonna be getting a copy from Book of the Month for The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. This is another one that I've personally been pretty excited about, even though I'm not gonna lie, like usually Christmas books, like I could care less. Like I'm not really the type of person that cares a whole lot about Christmas themed books. But last December, I did end up making a video kind of like this where I read some Christmas books and I did have a good time with it. And this year, there's like so many exciting things coming out that have like Christmas vibes to them. So I just thought, why not? And this one does look cute, The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. I think it looks adorable. I love the title, like the play on words. I think it's cute. I'm also planning to read Make This Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. This is one that I do have on audio. And this is one that I'm hoping to read just because I do love this author, Ashley Herring Blake, and I have loved a romance from her before. And so because this one's a Christmas book, I'm just really curious to check it out. Another book that I might get to during this vlog is The Visitor by Sergio Gomez. This is a horror novella that I've had on my TBR for like a few years now. And this one's a horror novella that all, takes place on Christmas. It literally just says, on Christmas, during one of the worst snowstorms Indiana has ever seen, 5 strangers are forced to take shelter inside of a roadside diner. But as the night progresses and the temperature seems to be dropping by the hour, the worst has nothing to do with the weather and everything to do with the 6th visitor coming to the diner. I think it's like Aliens or something. Does this not look like it's giving Aliens? So for that reason alone, I think I would like to include that one in that video. And this one's only 83 pages, so it should be a blast. And then there's also another thriller that's coming out called You Better Watch Out, which this one just sounds so fun. I think that title is like so fun for a Christmas thriller, and I do have this one available on audio as well. And there are those Christmas novellas that I was talking about in my November wrap up, because I read the Ali Hazelwood, I already read Cruel Winter with You, but there are a few other of those like Amazon Christmas novellas that they've been coming out with from other authors that I've been wanting to read. One of them that I really want to read is The Merriment in Mayhem by Alexandria Bellafleur, because I love this author so much, and so this is definitely one of the ones that I'm hoping to read. And then this is crazy, but you know how like people are doing these videos where they do like reading for 24 hours straight and you kind of see like how much you can read within 24 hours? I kind of want to do one of these videos in December, which might be a huge mistake, because not only am I not a morning person, like at all, like I am not a morning person, but I also don't think I've ever tried to stay awake for 24 hours straight, like not intentionally. And I feel like doing this in December could be a huge mistake, because it's dark like for so long here, because like the sun doesn't even rise here until like 7:30 a.m. and then the sun goes down at like 4 in the afternoon. But I thought it would be fun for me to try to attempt a 24-hour reading challenge where I read for 24 hours straight so that I can get through as many of my books on my TBR before the end of the year as I can. And so that's gonna be what I'm trying to do in December. We'll have to see if it goes well, like fingers crossed. I think my goal is that I wanna do like 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. I feel like that's the most realistic for me, because like the idea of trying to wake up anytime before 6 a.m. feels very unrealistic for me. But then also when I think about it, like trying to stay up later than 6 a.m., I don't think I could do it. Like I think I would instantly fall asleep. So I think the goal is gonna be 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. I think I could do it. But some books that I'm hoping to maybe read during that 24 hours includes Dirty Diana. This is one that I just got sent from the publisher that I am so freaking excited to read. This one just says, a provocative novel about being caught between marriage and memories of a more sensual past. And it says the first of a 3-part series based on the #1 fiction podcast. Like, I'm sorry, what? It's so interesting too to me because the blurb on the back of this book is from Demi Moore, which I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I think it's about, you know, like a woman like finding herself again after being in this marriage for such a long time. She's really like lost her own identity. And I think it's about her like exploring her sexuality again. Like, I don't really know much about this, but I am very excited to read it and give it a shot. And I think this would be a good one to try to read in like a 24-hour thing because it's only 253 pages. I feel like this is something that I could get through fairly quickly. And then in that same video, I'm hoping to get to Pictures of You by Emma Gray. This is one that I literally don't know too much about, but I do know on the back it says that this is a second chance romance, which that's not one of my favorite tropes. I mean, I don't usually like second chance romance books, but this one just sounds so interesting because it says we're following this character named Evie, and it says she should be grieving her dead husband, but since the car crash that claimed his life and landed her in the hospital, she can't remember him at all. The only person who can help her piece the past together is her high school best friend Drew Kennedy. And so I don't know, it sounds like it's gonna be hard hitting, really beautiful. You know, my friend Jan messaged me and said that she really thinks that I would love this book, and I think she said that it's her #1 favorite book that she's read this year. And so after hearing Jan's praise, I was like, okay, like I need to read this as soon as humanly possible. And like, yes, this book is over 400 pages, so maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to try to read this in a 24-hour sitting, but you know what? Like, I think I need to. I also have a few other books that I would love to read during that 24-hour reading vlog. I mean, if I could get to Rest Stop by Nat Cassidy, that would be amazing because that's a new horror novella from one of my favorite horror authors that I would love to get to before the end of the year, so I'm really hoping that I can squeeze that in. And then also, I recently bought a Kindle. I'm gonna be doing an unboxing of the Kindle and kind of talking more about it in my next video, which is gonna be like a book haul and a Kindle unboxing kind of video. But I am very excited that I finally got a Kindle, and so there is a high chance that I'm gonna be doing a lot of reading on my Kindle this month. In fact, I've already started on The Snowball Effect by Haley Cass, because this is one that is available on Kindle Unlimited, which I got 3 months for free of Kindle Unlimited on my new Kindles, so like I'm gonna be using that until at least February. And so The Snowball Effect by Haley Cass is the newest romance book from the author that wrote On the Same Page, which is like one of my top favorite romances of this whole year. So when I saw she had a new release on Kindle Unlimited, I was like, okay, well, that's gonna be my first thing on the new Kindle. So this book is like 600 pages or something like that, but it's a romance book, but I am really enjoying it so far, so this is definitely something that I'm gonna be finishing up in the month of December. And then speaking of Haley Cass, you know, another thing that's on Kindle Unlimited is this novella called The Next Chapters, which is actually like, I think it's following the same characters from On the Same Page, which is like, you know, my favorite romance book of this year. It's following those same characters, but it's like a novella, and I don't know if it takes place before or after the book, but that's another one that I'm definitely hoping to read this month on Kindle Unlimited because, oh my god, I'm so excited. Like, I love those characters so much, and so I can't wait to get back into their story. And then finally, in the month of December, I do love to do some rereading at the end of the year because usually I like to start making my like best and worst of the year videos kind of like halfway through the month. And so then I usually try to save like the last week or like the last 2 weeks of the month for some rereading, because I am the type of person that really enjoys rereading books, but I don't always give myself the time to actually do it. And so usually at the very end of the year, like in the last week or two of the year, that's when I tend to do the most rereading, and I get to revisit a lot of the books that I've loved. And because it's like the Christmas season and like the end of the year, I love to give myself that break of like knowing that I'm going to be reading books that I will absolutely love. And so I don't really know right now what my plan is for books that I want to reread in that last week. I mean, I know obviously Kill for Me, Kill for You is going to be one of them because I'm rereading this for the book troop. Then I'm also hoping that I can reread Once There Were Wolves because this is definitely one of my favorite books that I've read this year, and I feel like I need to reread this to confirm if it's like my #1 favorite of the year. Like, I'm still trying to figure out what my #1 favorite of the year is, so I might do some rereading at the end of the month to try to figure that out. But then I also, oh my gosh, I've been staring at History of Wild Places, like, and I know how much I loved this when I read it a few Decembers ago, and I remember thinking to myself when I read it the first time, like, this is the perfect December book. Like, it just has all of the December vibes. So like, there's a good chance that I could be rereading this one as well. I don't know, man, I have so many books that I want to get to this month that I'm like, I just want to reread all of the things. Like, part of me wants to reread some of Emily Henry's stuff that I haven't revisited yet. Part of me wants to reread Long Bright River for like a third time. Like, why am I like this? I also kind of want to reread the entire like fangirl manga series that I have. now that I have the full thing. Like I just want to binge read it. I don't know, anything could happen this month when it comes to rereading. And I'm thinking that I will do a vlog with like rereading old favorites. So let me know if that's something that you would like to see from me in a vlog, because I'm still debating if I'm going to be vlogging that this month or if I'm just going to like reread on my own time. But anyways, I think that is it for the month of December. I also just wanted to remind you that I did announce Winterween last month. If you haven't heard, Winterween is going to be happening again in January, and I can't wait. I'm so excited for Winterween next month. I can't believe it's coming up so soon. So if you missed the announcement for Winterween, I will have that video linked down below. We also do have merch for this round of Winterween, and I believe it's going to be coming up here soon. Like this is going to be one of the last times that you can order before the campaign ends, so you can get it in time for the readathon. So if you are wanting to order merch for Winterween, I would definitely recommend doing that sooner rather than later so that you can get the merch in time for the readathon. That is going to be all from me. I cannot wait for December. This is definitely one of my favorite times of the year to start making all of the like end of the year content, you know, like I really look forward to it every year. And this year is no different. I have a lot of videos coming out later this month that I'm very excited about, and I hope you are as well. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. You'll have to let me know, what are you planning to read in December, and what is something you are looking forward to the most this month? Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye.